We are live, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hello, everyone. It's been a very calm, a very chill Sunday. Haven't prepared any topical videos for today, and I was like, but you know what? All I've done is upload a few shorts. I got to do something. Let's do a quick little live stream Q&A. Maybe quick, maybe not so quick. Just wanted to jump on here. Remind everybody I do own some shirts that aren't just black, and I'm enjoying a little bit of a tasty beverage here, real quick, guys. Oh, now that is a tasty beverage. Oh, gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Now, I don't have my moderator Barbara, SPTV Tattoo Warrior, in the back starring anything for me, so it's gonna be I'm gonna be struggling here a little, guys. You guys, did you guys like that? Hold on. Oh yeah, that is the good stuff. What? Who is this? Does that look like someone we know, guys? Hold on. Oh, it just tastes better. It just tastes better coming out of that mug. Absolutely amazing, guys. Mandy Gonzalez, love the mug. Let me say hi to some channel members. Jessica Ozier, welcome as a new channel member. Lori Plays, want to say hi to my moderators. Lydia, hello. It's me, Jane. Hello, hello. Jen Marie, thank you for joining us. Keela, always good to see you. Ayarad. Like, ooh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, we're just chilling a little bit. Sandy, Aaron has some more tea too. No, I think the tea has all been served. You know, I think tea is served when it's hot, and then it's cold, and back to business as usual. All right, let's see. Arta A, hello, hello. And okay, guys, so we are going to do. I do want to do a Q&A. I mean, that's what I jumped on here is to do a live Q&A. So if you want, if you've got a comment or a question that you want me to bring up on the screen, please begin with comment. Please begin with question. Remember, I am doing all this on my own. So let's see. Ken Grover. Aaron is to Scientology as Kendrick Lamar is to Drake. Just saying. I haven't had a lot of time to be scrolling through all the news updates, the real world beefs that I guess you learn about on Twitter. I hear there's something going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I think there's tattoos involved. I think there's women and wives involved. I don't know what it is. I know just enough to get your reference, Ken, and that's all I know. There seems to be something going on with J-Lo. There's some drama going on with J-Lo, and I even tried to read an article about it, and I got to the end of the article, and I didn't understand a damn thing. It didn't make any sense. She released some music. She released a documentary. They flopped. And I don't know what the controversy is. Why is that? Why is that a controversy? I don't know. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna scroll down here. Rural SD Lawyer, it has been a while since you've been on for a live. He says, it's been a while since I've been on for a live, but I've been watching and listening. I am 1000% Team Aaron and SPTV Foundation. Mad respect for your openness and your transparency. I do appreciate the support. I do feel compelled to comment on the fact that it's not my desire for there to be two teams. Obviously, humans are how we are, and people are going to support the people that they want to support. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you're going to support or favor one side, I guess at least hope that we're supporting sides without necessarily having to bash the other side. And I'm not pointing my finger at you, Rural SD Lawyer. I just feel compelled to say that out loud. But yes, thank you. I absolutely appreciate your support And I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Amy Jackson, welcome as a new channel member. Marissa Martin, PDX, welcome as a new channel member. Lovely Leanne, welcome as a new channel member. Let's see, Eat More Pizza Now. Question, does the board members of the Aftermath Foundation still use SPTV in any of their videos? I don't watch them. Asking for a friend as well. I'm going to guess not. I mean, do they even do videos anymore? They don't even do videos anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I'm going to guess not. I mean, I think you'll notice that, yeah. I mean, I guess it's true at this point that if you call yourself an SPTV channel, it's going to be assumed that you are a supporter of the SPTV Foundation. And so that's kind of tough cookies. I mean, it makes sense, right? If we're going to call the foundation the SPTV Foundation, and if you're going to call your channel SPTV, it makes sense that people would assume that you are in support of the SPTV Foundation. And honestly, why wouldn't someone be in support of the SPTV Foundation? But if someone, I don't know, it's just kind of common sense. So if you're specifically not wanting to, show any support to, then it would make sense to me that you wouldn't call yourself SPTV or use the SPTV logo. But kind of like we've always said, there's no rhyme or reason or rules or whatever for who can use that logo. You know what I mean? So, but that's my answer. Eat More Pizza Now. Thank you very much. Eat More Pizza, one of my great moderators. The Midnight Show. Hello, welcome as a new channel member. Oh, I got Marilyn in the back helping me start some comments. Hi, Marilyn. Sorry, I should have given you a heads up. Jen Nelson. Hey, Aaron, you look good in blue. Guys, I've always said that next to black, blue is my favorite color. And the only reason I don't wear it more often is because if I'm sweating, it's going to shine through. You're going to see some under boob sweat. You're going to see some armpit sweat. And I don't like that. And that's why I wear black all the time. I did just get back from the gym, so I am kind of sweaty. But the camera on this laptop doesn't have excellent resolution. In fact, somebody the other day said in the comments that my camera had too much filter on it. Now, look, I don't have any filter on my camera unless these MacBook cameras have an auto filter that I don't know about. But I have noticed the picture is a bit blurrier, like just right here, than it was when I was using my phone as my camera. But and actually, I have these 3 Sony cameras that I got for use on the podcast table back here. And when Kelly was in town, she was going to show me how to hook up one of those cameras as my external camera to really up my camera game. Oh, look, I can see my sweat now. Hold on, guys. And we never got around to it. Yep, I have a head sweat rag right here. Yep, when you're bald, this is what you got to do to prepare for videos sometimes, guys. Pro tip. Oh my God, you're kidding. DOA is getting arrested again. You cannot be serious. I'm going to check this out right now. What city is he in? Hold on, guys. No way. No way. Well, guys, let's check in on DOA here for a second and see what's popping.
Just freedom.
Yeah, what about his religious freedom?
Not a comment. Not a.
Okay, where is he?
Smart about not saying it. They already made themselves.
All right, I'm gonna. Oh.
Shit, they're throwing in deep with 3 cops.
I'm gonna go on 2x speed. Get out of here. No way. No.
So right now you're being placed under private arrest by the security staff here.
Really?
Yeah. So we're not gonna handcuff you, bro. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be cited. Okay. Everything's okay. Okay. So we're gonna release custody. Okay. You're gonna be cited. Once you're released here, give you a court date, and you'll be good to go. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Let's hear what the cop said again.
Okay. So we're gonna fill out so here. Yeah. So we're not gonna handcuff you. How's it going, sir? So right now you're being placed under private person's arrest by the security staff here.
Really?
So here, yeah. So we're not gonna handcuff you, bro. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be cited, okay, and released. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna fill out a release for custody. Okay. If you sign it, we'll cite your release here, give you a court date, and you'll be good to go. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, during a religious one?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to check back in with DOA later. Okay. So the security staff have filed a private person's arrest report with the LAPD. They're arresting DOA, but they're not going to cuff him. They're not going to bring him into the station. They're going to cite him and release him right there, set a court date. They're just so used to arresting DOA that they don't even bother putting him through the process. I cannot even believe that the LAPD keeps doing this. That is the good stuff. All right, I'll check in with DOA later and see what's going on. Thank you for the heads up on that. Okay, let's see. Russ, I'm right here, Dad. Any people get crazy on you after your video from yesterday? Yeah, Martha did try to call me a bunch of times last night, sent me a bunch of hateful messages on Instagram, and generally lost her ever-loving mind on YouTube and Twitter and Reddit. But other than that, no problems. Thank you for asking. Let's see. Freedom from MLM. How much can you talk about your work with Bill Ackman? I've actually spoken about it a whole lot. I don't find it terribly interesting. It's not super fascinating. Bill Ackman's kind of a well-known hedge fund manager on Wall Street. Pretty famous dude. He's a billionaire, and he's a very big personality when it comes to hedge fund managers. And it's funny. I can't really tell the Bill Ackman story itself without giving a whole bunch of context for how Bill Ackman ever came to know who I was. And I just kind of don't want to get into that on a Q&A. But I can. There's nothing about it I can't talk about. I don't have some sort of NDA or anything like this. My experience with Bill was fantastic. He's a great guy. I respect the hell out of him, and it was a great experience working on the Herbalife project with him. So yeah, maybe it's something I can revisit at a later time. Thank you for the question. In fact, if you Google Asmithlevin, Bill Ackman, Herbalife, you'll see an article that was written in Forbes about some of the work that I did for him. So that was really cool. Max's mom, when is the next fun games night? We need some fun. We do need some fun. Yes, we do. I feel like we've been climbing a hill and we're over the crest of that hill, and now we're on the way down, and that means we should be having fun. Like, the hard work's been done. Now we're coasting. I think it is time for a game night. So let's figure that one out, and we'll put it together. Sabrina Flapperina, what's your favorite band music? I have different answers to this question at different stages of my life. And, the reason I don't like answering this question is because the first time anybody absolutely shamed me for the music that I liked, I was 17 or 18 years old. I was working at a coffee shop in LA on Hollywood Boulevard. And one of my new friends, Joey Flores, who was the biggest Tool fan in the world, like the band Tool, he asked me what kind of music I liked. Well, I was raised by a single mom in the 80s. So I'm like Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Prince, Phil Collins, I don't know, the Talking Heads. And he's like, oh my God, you have horrible taste in music. I'm like, how, you don't have taste? Like, it's the music. Like, that's the music. What other music is there? Okay. Now, generally speaking, I have for a large portion of my life said that my favorite band was U2. Their albums, Octoon Baby and Rattle and Hum and War. I mean, just some of my favorite music. And yet I hate all of their new music. So I'm embarrassed to say that they are my favorite band. And other than that, guys, I just like whatever's on the charts. I like whatever's, what popular music, R&B, rap, whatever. I just, whatever's popular on the radio is pretty much what I like. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Wise Mama, have you read through enough of the thumb drive documents to know the subject matter therein? Oh, hell yes. In fact, this is an excellent question. I've gone through every single document in the thumb drive of the leaked OSA documents. That's why I was biting my tongue so hard when Mark Headley did that video saying the reason no one's done anything with these documents in the last 15 years is because it's 40,000 pages. I'm like, no, it's not. First of all, it doesn't matter if it's 400,000 pages. It's all completely indexable and searchable. You can search whatever you want. You don't have to go through them like it's a file cabinet. So here's what happened. Leah had all the documents on the thumb drive that she was given, but these documents were within folders, within folders, within folders, within folders. It was just a folder tree from hell. And she said, I can't do anything with this. And I said, okay, well, what I'll do is I will go through every single folder and pull all the files out of all the folders and just put them all in one folder. And I'll go through and I'll remove as many of the duplicate files as I can. 50% to 65% of all the files on that thumb drive were duplicates. I've looked at every single file. The thing is, it's not as amazing and explosive as you might think. They're just basically Mike Rinder's personal documents that he was working on for a number of years. And the documents, the main documents in those OSA files that talk about covering up of child SA are documents that I've already done a video about. And in fact, Mike and Leah even did a video about it. It's the James Barber documents, the Broadway musical actor, Scientologist, and perpetrator of child SA. And in those documents, Mike Rinder details how he and the Scientology lawyers helped cover up additional instances of child SA that James withheld from the police and even withheld from his own lawyers. Yes, that's right. James Barber told his Scientology handlers about incidences of SA that he had even hid from the lawyers, and Mike Rinder and the lawyers all conspired to cover it all up so that James wouldn't get in trouble, so that Scientology wouldn't get in trouble. So when Mike Rinder does a softball interview with John Atack and says, child SA, on my watch? No, I never heard of it. Covering it up? No, that never happened. It's like, it's in your own documents, dude. Now, maybe Mike didn't consider that that was an answer to the question, because the victims of that child SA were not Scientologists. They were non-Scientologists. So maybe in Mike's brain, non-Scientologists don't count. I don't know. I'm just saying that's what's in the files, and that's what I'm talking about. I do not remember seeing anything else in those OSA files about other instances of child SA or covering up of child SA. What's really interesting about those documents is that it provides a glimpse, a window into the life of Mike Rinder. Is that? Those documents provide a glimpse into the life of Mike Rinder, the life of a senior Scientology executive, and how even at the most senior levels, those executives act absolutely pathetic, groveling, just talking to Miscavige like, if they say one wrong word, they're going to get beaten and sent to bed without supper. That's what I found. That was my biggest takeaway from those OSA documents. And yes, I'll be doing an awful lot with those OSA documents. And I've given them to literally anyone who asks. I've given those documents to journalists. These documents deserve to be posted online. Honestly, but because they're not mine, I haven't just posted them online. It's like, but they're not secret. You know what I mean? And honestly, someone needs to ask Mike Rinder, Mike, why did you give why did you give all these documents to Mark Headley last year instead of doing anything with them yourself? Why did Mark Headley hide the fact that these were your documents? Why did you give them to Mark Headley instead of Leah Remini? Why did you not want Aaron to have a copy? It doesn't really make sense, right? So anyway. All right, let's see. Cody Mack, been a while, AA run. I had to take a breather. Dude, this turned into a cluster F, the likes of which no one predicted. Holy shit. Hashtag SPTV Foundation. I totally appreciate that people feel this way. I got to be honest. I just don't feel that way. I have started to, when I say I don't feel that way, I don't feel that it's a cluster F. I feel like it's too early to be dropping F-bombs in a video. How do I articulate this? I have come to realize or come to reflect on the subject of hero worship. I was actually talking to Jenna about this a lot. When I was a little super dedicated Scientology staff member back in 1993, 4, 5, and 6, doing a training program that David Miscavige was running. I remember my frame of mind that I got into with David Miscavige. David Miscavige was reinventing how Scientology auditor training was done. And what he was doing, technically speaking, would have gotten anyone else declared a suppressive person. It was against everything L. Ron Hubbard ever said. Now, I didn't think that at the time, but it was. And there was a lot of old timers, people who'd been trained under L. Ron Hubbard and everything, who said, this is not okay. This is not right. This is wrong. And this is wrong. Now, as a good little dedicated Scientology staff member who thought David Miscavige was the be all end all, was the greatest, the most wonderfulest, everything, I remember thinking to myself, it can't be wrong because David Miscavige is the boss. By definition, he can't be wrong. He's the leader. If he says this is right, that means it's right, no matter what, because he's the boss. And if you don't like it, get the F out of here. Nobody needs you if you're going to be in the way. And I remember, guys, I was 13, 14, 15 years old at this time. I didn't know L. Ron Hubbard. I didn't work with L. Ron Hubbard. All I knew was David Miscavige. And I was just reflecting on the fact that that's a particular mindset. That's a particular way of thinking. It's a particular way of viewing authority in this absolute kind of way where the leader can't be wrong. Now, I say those words and I'm like, yeah, that's what a cult member would say. The leader can't be wrong. And I'm mentioning this because it's a way of thinking that I was accustomed to and also very much aided my survival. That thinking was actually key to succeeding in that environment. And whereas I didn't feel any cognitive dissonance at that, I mean, it didn't, I was totally comfortable thinking that way. It's not like I had to struggle. It wasn't like, oh no, I have to force myself to agree with the leader. No, I really, really, really agreed with the leader. But in retrospect, it's interesting to think that not having thought that way would have hindered my survival in that group. It would have hindered my ability to succeed and rise through the ranks of that group. And I don't mean ranks literally, but I mean ranks like the people who worked directly for David Miscavige, the RTC reps. Even though I was not a high-level Sea Org member, the RTC reps loved me. They loved me, and they protected me because they knew I was ride or die for David Miscavige. And I wish I could give you a whole bunch of examples to show how this was the case. But if Louis Repetto is in the chat, if St. Louis Ray, what I always forget what name you're using in the chat, Lou. But are you in the chat, Louis? Louis and I were in the Sea Org together. Louis can tell you how much those RTC reps rode for me because I rode for David Miscavige. And I'm mentioning this because I think I have not given enough thought or been aware enough of how that way of thinking, how I carried that with me after Scientology. I forget what the damn question I was responding to is, but I totally forget, but I'm just going to keep saying what I'm saying. I don't remember what the question was. They arrested him and took him down to the station. That's incredible. I'll definitely get back with DOA after this. When I was on the board of the Aftermath Foundation, well, before that occurred, Mike Rinder, I hired Mike to work for me in my business. Mike Rinder was working for me in my hedge fund research business. I didn't have hero worship of Mike at that time because I didn't need to. I was the boss. And then we do the Aftermath Foundation. It was Luis Garcia's idea. He called me. He sold me on it. I sold everyone else on it. And there was now a little bit of this hero worship thing going on where Mike can't be wrong. And I remember when Mike and Leah were doing the show, about season 2 or season 3, a lot of people started complaining to me about how they had been treated on the show. And this is something I was thinking about deeply last night. I remember I was incapable of wanting to hear or care about what those people were saying to me at the time. What was going through my head was like, you need to just shut up about this. Why do you keep saying this? You're going to ruin everything. Like, that's kind of what's going on in my mind. Like, what am I going to do? Go to Mike and be like, oh, this person's complaining. Like, what am I now going to do? Be the bearer of bad news? Be like the courier of all complaints? Like, I don't need to hear about how you're upset you were treated this way or that way. And when I was talking with Jen about this, it was just dawning on me, like, what kind of mindset was I in? Where like the humanity of the situation was removed. And all I could see was this sort of structure where like Mike and Leah are at the top of the structure. And my place at the structure is somehow underneath them. And somehow my position in the structure is dependent on being connected to them and having people that I care about, like friends that I care about, who in any other normal circumstances, I would have deeply cared for what they had to say. So I'm in the structure where they come to me and all I can think is, why do you guys have to be making waves like this? Why do you guys have to be complaining? Why do you guys have to be upset about this? Why can't you just go with the flow? You're going to mess it all up. And in retrospect, I'm like, mess what up? What were we all doing if it wasn't caring about each other's humanity? What was my mindset that I thought it wasn't even possible to go to Mike, much less Leah, and be like, hey, we got some real problems here. And what's interesting is that my good friend Nathan Rich, who a lot of you guys will know, I did tons of interviews with him on my channel. I visited him in China a couple times. Nathan Rich and his girlfriend came to Clearwater to visit one time. And I was really excited to take Nathan and his girlfriend over to Mike's house to visit him. And afterwards, like way afterwards, because he didn't want to say it to me at that time, he actually said to me, Mike is not your friend. I was like, why would you say that? He's like, you can't see it? He's like, you can't. He's like, that guy doesn't even like you. I'm like, why would you? That's not true. And it was one of these things where I couldn't have what he was saying. I couldn't accept it. I didn't want to accept it. I visited him. He and I went to Japan one time. I remember we were walking the streets of Japan in a hurricane, having a conversation about Mike Rinder and Leah Remini and the TV show and the foundation. He's like, I can't believe you don't see it. Those guys are not your friends. And you go to bat for these guys. And I almost had I'd almost completely buried these conversations I had with Nathan, because I was like, this information is threatening my survival. Isn't that weird? You go, what survival? Survival in what terms? In this weird hierarchy that I had in my mind, very similar to like in Scientology, you either are on board with David Miscavige or you're not, and you get the hell out of there. And in the world of former Scientology, I had this idea. You're either on board with Mike Rinder and Leah Remini or you're not, and get the hell out of here. Except that's not the way the real world works. And like I said, guys, I absolutely forget what the question I was even responding to was. But damn it, what was it, guys? Does anybody remember? Marilyn, do you remember? I think I unstarted already, but how did I lose it? That's okay. Moving on. That was my episode of Deep Thoughts with AA Run. Okay. Peg Wardo, did you see Rabbits live today? I did see Rabbits live today. I did. And I thought it was great. You know what I'm mentioning all this? Because just like Nathan's been telling me for years, that he's like, Mike's not your friend. There's other people in the last few months who've been telling me something similar about someone else. I was like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. And I think I just very much am not entirely aware of the ways in which I have carried forward with ways of thinking that became normalized to me when I was in a cult as a child. And you can't see your own blind spots, and that's why they're blind spots. So honestly, it's one of the reasons I feel so good right now. Like I feel like a weight has been lifted. I feel like something I've been lying to myself about very hard, that my face was shoved in it strong enough that I could not lie to myself about it anymore. And I'm not lying to myself about it anymore. So that feels good. Now, of course, that will put me into a false sense of security that I no longer have said blind spot. And then that'll make it more likely to happen in the future. And we will repeat the cycle, I'm sure. But at least for now, for today, maybe for this week, things are pretty good. Okay. Mitch Brisker says, fast forward. They are arresting DOA and putting him in cuffs. Oh, okay. Except that text was about 20 minutes ago. So let me, I am going to fast forward on his stream. And, that's okay, guys. I'm going to do a whole separate, oh, wait. I'm fast forwarding off screen. Well, this is awkward. I'm fast forwarding as fast as I can. How many minutes behind am I, for the love of Xenu? All right, guys. Well, we are here to do a live Q&A. We'll look at DOA getting arrested in a little bit. Oh, he refused to sign. Wow. Well, you know what? Good for him. Well, are they really just letting, see, I'm fast forwarding, but all I'm looking at is Confident Chris standing in front of the camera on a sidewalk. And I can't tell if that's because DOA's already been arrested or because he hasn't been arrested yet. Yep. Sorry, guys. I can't just sit here scrolling through his stuff. And SPTV fan, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, yeah, this is interesting. Ramon's Girl 1. I just recently started rewatching Leah's show, and every time he tried to distance himself from Osa, she would say, don't say they, and then say, you were a part of it. Don't distance yourself. I'm glad you mentioned that. In many episodes of the Leah Remini Scientology and the Aftermath show, I remember some of the feedback on the Facebook groups was that Leah was actually being rude to Mike. And that's because she would, in the episodes, be like, Mike, it was you. It was you who did this. And I remember thinking it did always seem a little rude, but it was also exactly, I mean, she was correct. Now, here's where I don't know. Here's my thoughts on this. If I were Mike Rinder, I would 100% lean into this. Michael Francese. Is Michael Francese the former mob boss? Let me pull him up on YouTube. He's become a very famous guy on YouTube. Former mob boss, Michael Francese. And Francese. Now, he's already served his time. You know, he's done his prison sentence. He does his content. He's found religion. And, you know, his content on YouTube is, he talks about the mob life. And he talks about the mob life to warn people away from the mob life. Now, it's funny. It's a little double-edged sword, right? Because everyone knows that, everyone, it's kind of cool to talk about the mob life. And so it's almost like, you know, a lot of people are listening to your content because they think it's freaking cool. I mean, am I wrong? And so you're talking about it. You're getting a huge audience. You're getting, you got notoriety. You got some fame. You're making money. And you're warning people against it. But it is a little bit of a double-edged sword because you're saying don't do it, but you're also saying here's what we did, and everyone's going to love hearing these cool stories. I feel like I'm shitting on the guy. I love the guy. I love his channel. I think everything he does is great. But if I was Mike, I would take the Michael Francese route. Instead of saying Scientology says this, Scientology policy says this, I would say, this is what I did. We don't need to hear about L. Ron Hubbard. We don't need to hear about David Miscavige. We don't need to hear about the policies. Say, let me tell you about this thing that I did. And what's interesting is that Mike Rinder came out with his book. I actually thought the book was absolutely amazing, even from the first draft. But I can tell you one person who thought the book was absolute shit because Mike Rinder didn't actually admit to anything. That's Tony Ortega. Tony Ortega was not shy about telling the people around him that he thought the book was absolutely garbage, and Mike Rinder didn't admit to a single thing, nothing scandalous whatsoever. And I'm just going, if I were Mike, I would tell every juicy, dirty story and say, this is what we did. This is what I did. No one's going to come after Mike for these things. They're going to go, it's just like Michael Francese. He goes, this is what I did. And I did this because this was the life. You either did this or X, you know, I don't want to, whatever X is. I do feel that the difficulty that Mike runs into PR wise is he wants to be seen as this somewhat saintly figure instead of being seen as someone who was a bad guy for 30 years. I think it's more interesting to be seen as someone who was a bad guy for 30 years. It doesn't make any sense to be like, yeah, I destroyed people's lives for 30 years, but I'm on a TV show, so it's all good now. I wrote a book, so it's all good now. I'm on the board of Child USA, so it's all good now. I've met with the FBI. Who gives a shit? We've all met with the FBI. No one gives a shit. Like, tell the stories. Own your shit. And I think it's the fact that so many times in the TV show, Leah had to be like, but it was you. It was you. Don't say they. Don't say it was you. Kind of shows you. I think Mike is stuck in a gear where for some reason he's protecting image. He doesn't want to be seen as a former bad guy. He just wants to be seen as a saintly whistleblower. The best whistleblowers are the guys who were the bad guys. Just be the bad guy. That's what I think. And again, I forget what I was responding to. Oh yeah, it was you were rewatching the show and Leah kept prompting him to do that. Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, let's see. Invite Nora for game night. Absolutely. Nora's been absolutely killing it in the YouTube game, by the way. I'm like so excited for her. Yeah, no, Nora's definitely doing game night. And DOA's been arrested. All right, I mean, how can I not find where he got arrested? How can I not find it? Nope. Not there. Oh, not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Okay, let's give this a shot, guys. I do want to. Let's watch DOA get arrested.
We've dealt with you before. I've dealt with you before.
Okay.
We were here like a few.
Okay, so you're arresting me for a misdemeanor, disturbing the peace with a megaphone,
with a megaphone
for disturbing a religious organization.
A religious,
and a private person is doing that.
Yes.
Disturbing a religious service.
Do it.
So you're gonna sign the
I'll sign
thing,
it.
and
Let's
then
do it.
You'll get a court date.
Yeah. For me, comedy disturbing a religious.
Is it a comedy show?
Yeah, it's a comedy show that I was. It's me.
I think I realized what the problem is. In order to see him actually get put in cuffs, I think I've got to probably go to Confident Chris's channel. I just don't want to do that right now, but let's see.
To a crime?
No. Hey, do you have an ID just so we can document that?
Have I been accused of a crime?
No.
Okay.
All right, so you're his friend, right? Take all.
Testing a First
See,
Amendment
I feel like I've already missed it.
morons don't.
Okay.
The guy with the camera right there with his hand up.
Come on, guys. Do I keep missing it? This is.
You know how fucking stupid you're gonna look. All right,
So you're not gonna sign the citation.
go fuck yourself.
Uh-oh.
All right. And
You guys don't know my keys are in. You have installed a video for a.
Okay, so. Oh, there he is. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Find out. Find out what he wants to do with it.
I see.
Yeah, find
Okay.
out. Find out what.
All right, guys. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so let me show everyone DOA's actual channel here so people can subscribe to him if you want, support him on his Cash Apps if you can. Looks like DOA's going to spend a little bit of time in jail again. Honestly, they were going to release him right there. So hopefully they take him down and they book him and they release him right away. Absolutely incredible, you guys. Absolutely incredible. Disturbing a religious service. All right, I'm going to talk to DOA on a stream as soon as I can. Unbelievable. Mama D, 63, made alive. You are doing great. Thank you, Mama D. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's see. Panko, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Okay, Lily Castle, can you explain why Applied Scholastics specifically is bad? Writers of the Future supports it. Lily Castle, Writers of the Future is also a Scientology front group. Writers of the Future is a program run by Author Services International. Author Services International is one of the most senior organizations in the Sea organization. And so Applied Scholastics, the easiest way to describe why it's bad is that it's basically just Scientology light. So there's, okay, you've heard me talk about Scientology's business consulting front group called WISE, or the World Institute of Scientology Enterprises. Technically speaking, there's nothing bad about a WISE course. Like, it's kind of like a Scientology information put into a course that they sell for way too much money, and they kind of take out as much of the Scientology words as possible. But technically speaking, if you're a non-Scientologist and you pay to do one of these WISE courses, how to manage by statistics, and you sit down and you study it and you learn it, you've not been harmed in any way. You've been trained in a system of statistical management that's not very effective and doesn't work great, but it's better than nothing. And you can study that course, and at the end of that course, you're not a Scientologist. But it's a gateway into Scientology, because these business consulting groups will sign up clients. They're only allowed to sign up non-Scientologists, and they'll sell them a certain amount of business consulting, and they'll help them with their business as much as possible. But if they ever reach a point where they're not getting any more results, they switch gears, they transition, and they start selling them on getting Scientology auditing. And, the business owner of the consulting group that I worked for when I left the Sea organization, the company was called Measurable Solutions. They consulted physical therapists, and the owners was Jeff Lee and Sean Kirk. And they would sell people courses and train them on the courses. But then when they hit some plateau, they'd be like, hey, let's talk for real. Let's talk for real. I ran into the same problem you did. I hit a plateau. I just felt like I was hitting a glass ceiling. There was just something wrong. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then what happened is I got a little bit of Scientology auditing. And what I found out is that what was wrong, I was what was wrong. There was something wrong with me I was keeping myself from achieving my full potential. And it wasn't until I got that Scientology auditing that I was able to reach the next level. I took it to the HNL, whole nother level. Okay, so that's an example where the business consulting itself, it's okay. It's not dangerous. But the real problem with it is the money goes to Scientology, and it's a gateway into Scientology. Similar thing with Applied Scholastics. They take the information in Scientology about how to study, and they put it into courses, and they try to, and courses and books that they get into public schools. And you go, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, it's just kind of a gateway to introduce kids to L. Ron Hubbard. So the books are like Study Skills for Life, Grammar and Communication, How to Use a Dictionary. And it's like, okay, if you sit down and you study those books and you just take whatever's useful out of them, you've not been harmed, and you haven't been turned into a Scientologist. But it's a gateway into Scientology, because you go, oh, this is a book by L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, this is interesting. This is useful. I wonder what else L. Ron Hubbard wrote. Child Dianetics. What's that? You see what I mean? So, of course, Writers of the Future supports Applied Scholastics, because Applied Scholastics is a Scientology front group. Writers of the Future is a Scientology front program. And Author Services International is literally one of the highest level organizations in the Scientology hierarchy. What's interesting about ASI is they're not a management organization. So like ASI has nothing to do with Scientology orgs. But Sea Org members who work at ASI, they are the highest level Sea Org members other than David Miscavige's organization. So like the head of ASI would call David Miscavige Dave, not sir. That's how senior ASI is. Okay, so yep, DOA's in cuffs. Confident Chris is running there. Jacob S says, Watcher, first time chat. Do you think the rise of the internet has helped celebrities not join because the inside help for roles isn't effective? You know, I think that may be part of it. I think the fact that Scientology simply isn't an expanding operation also has to do. There's a few things that work in concert with each other. First of all, Scientology has become the ongoing butt of jokes ever since Tom Cruise version 2005 was downloaded, and ever since South Park. So ever since then, Scientology has become more of a laughing stock and the butt of a joke, as opposed to, this super, Hollywood celebrity religion. And also Tom Cruise has become a joke, and John Travolta is kind of a joke, and Kirstie Alley's dead. And who are the other famous Scientologists? I mean, and it's like, sure, there's still some, but I think the rise of the internet has also helped make Scientology a joke. And what celebrity wants to be known as someone who's in that joke religion for clowns who worship David Miscavige and Tom Cruise. So thank you for the question. Dogs Unite Against Scientology says, Dusty and I will be going through LA next weekend. Can't wait to do a little protesting. Hope to meet you and the rest of the gang. If it's literally next weekend, if it's literally the next weekend, I probably won't be there. It'll be a little bit after there, but I'll let you guys know, and it would be awesome to meet you there. Jen Huntington saying hi for the first time. Hello, Jen. Let's see. John Shamwowski, one of my great moderators. Another DOA arrest. One more, and he gets a free hoagie. We should actually all send him hoagies for his L. Ron Hubbard barbecues and say, yep, you were the 1,000th customer at the LAPD Wilcox station. You won 1,000 free hoagies. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Scrolling through. Oh, Xenu Golf Club. Where were you when Tom Cruise received the Freedom Medal of Valor? Were you in the audience? If not, why didn't you go? Would have been a fun thing to see, given how crazy he came across. Excellent question. I was in the Sea Org. I was in the Sea Org in Los Angeles. I think he got his Freedom Medal of Valor 2004. And I was at the event. Now, at the live event for that particular event occurs in St. Hill, England. So I was at the live playing of the event. And you have to understand, just as much as I thought David Miscavige was the greatest thing, I thought Tom Cruise was the greatest thing. I thought it was amazing that the most famous, powerful movie star in the world was stepping up and all of a sudden, like, really leveling up his Scientology game. Also, when he got up there, he used some language that, for me, as a good little dedicated Sea Org member, I mean, by that time I was like 23, 24 years old. I was no longer a kid. The language was powerful and resonated with me. He said we. He said we as if him and David Miscavige were a team. He said, we're counting on you. He said, we're trying to clean up this mess, so we could really use your help. I was like, oh, what? My pearls! Tom Cruise and David Miscavige need our help? That's amazing. And yeah, I was there. And, you know, I think you've heard a bunch of Scientologists and Sea Org members who watched that event. They were offended when David Miscavige introduced Tom Cruise as the most dedicated Scientologist I know. You know who wasn't offended? This guy. I was like, hell yeah, he's the most dedicated Scientologist. But I also did not assume that David Miscavige was putting Tom Cruise in the same category as Sea Org members. Because when I hear someone say Scientologist, what I hear is public Scientologist. I don't actually hear Sea Org member. So yeah, I was there. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And I thought to myself, if every Scientologist in the world could see this event, because I knew many Scientologists just don't watch the events. I was like, oh my God, if every Scientologist in the world saw Tom Cruise get the IAS Freedom Medal of Valor, they would all join staff today, and all orgs would be St. Hill size, and we'd be clearing the planet. And yeah, I had no problem with any of that. But again, it's like, I know when I talk about my Scientology experience, I sometimes focus on the parts of Scientology I didn't really believe in. But I believed in the big parts. I believed in the prison planet. I didn't know about Xenu because I'd never done the OT levels. I'd never done the confidential levels. I believed in basically the Matrix story of Scientology. This is a prison planet. We've got our alien. Now in the Matrix, it's robots. It's robot prisoners. But we've got our psychiatrist, alien prisoners keeping us on this planet. And once you die, we get our spirit memories wiped in the between lives implant stations. And we keep living lifetime after lifetime with this amnesia. And only Scientology can free us from this prison. And it was what I did struggle with is I didn't like getting auditing. And in order to become free from the prison, you have to go up the bridge to total freedom, which means you have to get auditing. And I hated getting auditing because I don't like talking about myself. I know you can't tell on YouTube because I talk about myself a lot. But in the Scientology auditing sessions, I just, those sessions are designed to get you to like confess whatever you think is most embarrassing about yourself. And I know what you're thinking. It seems like you do that anyway. But I'm just saying, in Scientology auditing sessions, I did not like doing that, especially because most of my experience being put in that situation was as a child. And it's not something I ever got used to or ever liked. So my struggle, my Scientology struggle was believing in the big pieces of the story, knowing that I needed to get up the bridge to total freedom, knowing that the only way to do that was to get auditing, knowing that I absolutely hated auditing, not knowing how I was ever going to get around this problem or solve this problem, but always being comfortable with going, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That's a funny analogy because of the bridge. See, I love my own jokes better than anybody. Hold on. Okay. So anyway, I know that when I talk about the Scientology stuff, I will focus on sometimes the parts that I didn't believe. But I believed in the important parts. I believed in the big parts. And I believed that Tom Cruise was one of the powerful big beings on this planet that was going to get everyone into Scientology. And I was just thrilled. Thank you for the question, Xenu Golf Club, and thank you for being a channel member. Okay, Jess 3675. If Mike Rinder went to the FBI and spilled everything, including his involvement, and testified against Scientology in exchange for full immunity, do you think he would have done it then or maybe now, or is he too selfish and scared? Oh, I believe that Mike Rinder has done that and would do that. I do believe Mike Rinder's told everything he knows to the FBI. I personally believe that. I think it doesn't matter. I think what matters is that he tells the world. Fuck the FBI. That's great. If the FBI is going to prosecute, the FBI can prosecute. We are here to win the war of public perception against Scientology. We are here to win the information war. Yes, Scientology needs to be prosecuted. Yes, I believe they will be prosecuted. But in my personal opinion, they're going to be prosecuted for the financial crimes, the identity theft, the identity fraud, identity theft, wire fraud, credit, the hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of credit card fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud, loan fraud. That is what I believe Scientology will be prosecuted for. Not covering up child SA, not David Miscavige beating people up, not people getting locked up in chain lockers, not people being locked up in the hole at international management. In fact, the FBI had already considered actually raiding the international management base. And it was determined that if they did, nobody would leave because they actually want to be there. And it was Mike Rinder who explained that to them. Like they said, if we went in, do you think people would come with us? And he's like, no, I don't. But, raiding the base and helping Sea Org members leave is not the same thing as prosecuting Scientology. And again, this is one of those appeal to authority things. It's easy to go. If there was something to prosecute Scientology for, the FBI would have already prosecuted. That is not necessarily true. The FBI is the federal police. The FBI does not prosecute. States attorneys prosecute. And states attorneys don't have to prosecute if they don't want to. And states attorneys are political positions. And Scientology has a very good track record in manipulating elected officials and politicians and the political process and the judicial process through influence of elected persons and what do they call them? Lobbyists, whose job is to exert influence amongst elected and appointed officials. So I believe Scientology will be prosecuted. I believe Mike Rinder has already spilled his guts to the FBI. I believe it doesn't make a damn bit of difference, or maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it doesn't matter. The fact that you told something to the FBI 12 years ago is not a reason why you can't do videos about it today. That's how I feel about it. And I don't think for a second the FBI or any legal, what's the word, and any police agency would want to prosecute a former Scientologist, former staff member, former SEERG member who was spilling the beans. They don't care about going after one little SEERG member. They want to go after Scientology. They want to go after David Miscavige. Nobody has anything to worry about when it comes to self-incrimination. That is my opinion. Thank you very much. Cheryl Bentley, this is my first live. I'm so excited. Well, thank you for joining, Cheryl. Glad to have you here. Let's see. Oh, what was Claire's role during the golden age of tech? That's an excellent question. That's actually how I know Claire. Claire had been working at the international base at Golden Era Productions for a while, and David Miscavige decided he wanted Claire to train to be one of his representatives. And so a whole bunch of young, good-looking Sea Org folks, about 20 of them, were assigned to a training pool to train to become representatives of David Miscavige called RTC reps. And those RTC reps were put in charge of this Golden Age of Tech training program. And I was on that Golden Age of Tech training program, and Claire was one of the representatives assigned. Actually, I was about to say she was assigned to me, but she wasn't. It was one of her RTC reps in training, Melanie Peeler, who was assigned to me. But Melanie's also a redhead, and so I get them mixed up. But Melanie has short, very, very curly hair, and Claire doesn't. So her role was to help get all of the people who were training on that evolution through their courses. And then after that, she became like a full-blown RTC rep. And then after that, she became, I think, in charge of the RTC reps. I could have that wrong. But then eventually she became internal exec RTC, which was a very senior position. I've heard it misstated that Claire was Mike's senior. Not true. Claire's position was senior to Mike's position in a totally unrelated way. It'd be like Claire had a more senior post than Mike. Claire was not in Mike's command line, if you know what I'm saying, chain of command. Okay, let's see. Escaping the Cultiverse, eh? Good to see you in here. Did you notice that many of the old timers left when the Golden Age of Tech crap came out? They were completely insulted. Exactly. And I was those young little shits who didn't give a damn that those old timers were upset with what David Miscavige was doing. I was like, oh, this is against L. Ron Hubbard? I heard he was dead. No, I never said those words. But I was like, oh, you're saying what David Miscavige is doing is a contrary to what L. Ron Hubbard said? Guess who's here? Guess who's not? Good luck with that argument. How are you going to win that argument? You got David Miscavige, who's has sole dictatorial control of Scientology. And your complaint is that what he's doing contradicts the dead guy. Who do you think's gonna win that argument? For me, it was just math. Now, I'm not good at math, guys, but you don't have to tell me twice. The guy who's in charge is gonna win. And when you're in a cult, that's how it works. And yes, there were people who had been trained as auditors directly by L. Ron Hubbard who'd been auditing for 20, 30, 40 years. And David Miscavige was coming along and saying, you've never known how to correctly use an e-meter. David Miscavige was not trained by L. Ron Hubbard at all. David Miscavige's training under L. Ron Hubbard was as a camera boy. And so anyway, but this is when you're in a cult, guys. This is literally there were class 12 auditors who'd been auditing for decades that David Miscavige was like, you're out of the chair. Out of the chair in Scientology means you're not allowed to audit anymore. He would literally assign these people to like the dry cleaning unit. And again, some of these things only sound important if if you think there's any importance to the Scientology thing itself. And but the thing in recognizing the humanity of these stories is that these people really all did believe in this in a very, very real and important way. And along comes this little dude that says, oh, you think you know what you're doing just because L. Ron Hubbard trained you that way? Well, you didn't. And you didn't because I say so. And if you disagree with me, you're out. But that's kind of what I mean. In order to survive in that environment, you have to think that the leader, by definition, is right. And that's what was happening to me, kind of emotionally and mentally, when people were coming to me talking about how upset they were about how they were treated on the Aftermath show. Nathan paid for his own flight from China. Nathan was actually, I think, in the middle of a vacation in either Indonesia. He lived in China. He was in the middle of a vacation, either Indonesia or Japan. And they said they wanted to fly him to the US. And he said, it was just important enough to Nathan that he said, no, I'm going to pay my own way. And he's like, they wouldn't even, he's like, I literally just flew halfway around the world on my own dime. And, they wouldn't even have lunch with me. They wouldn't even let me eat with them at lunchtime. And I remember thinking to myself, like, it sounds so horrible because Nathan's like a dear friend of mine. I remember just thinking, like, why do you have to make an issue out of this? Right? Like, just like I wasn't even able to actually care appropriately and care for my friend because what he was saying was making me feel like it was somehow threatening my ability to survive in the group by questioning the rightness of the leader. And I got to tell you, I hadn't even started to actually crystallize that this is what was going on until last night. It's kind of eye-opening. Thank you for that. Thank you for the question. Okay, let's see. Oh, Eat More Pizza Now says, I miss game night just because of Amy Schumer. Sorry, not sorry. I forgot I was making all those Amy Schumer jokes. Those Amy Schumer jokes really do upset a lot of people, though, and I recognize that. Oh, I like this. Amber Vanass, was DickO still at Asho when you were there? He used to play Frisbee with me when I was a kid outside of Asho. Yes, DickO was there. He was still a BC, St. Anne Special Briefing Course theory supervisor at Asho. He was there the whole time I was there. Actually, at the very, very end of my time there, I had been transferred over to the advanced org, and DickO was also transferred over to the advanced org to do Class 9 auditor training. The funny thing is that the whole time that DickO spent in the Sea Org, Dick Orchu, his name's DickO, but everyone called him DickO. His name's Dick Orchu. And by the way, Dick Orchu's daughter, Tracy, married the son of John Danelovich. And I think his name is Miko Danelovich. And so she became Tracy Danelovich, and she became a senior RTC rep working directly for David Miscavige. And I think to this day, I think Tracy Danelovich is literally one of the people helping David Miscavige run all of Scientology. Tracy Danelovich is the Miscavige's representative for middle management on Hollywood and Ivar. And there is no international management anymore. So middle management is international management now. And Tracy Danelovich, DickO's daughter, runs it. So anyway, yeah, DickO was there. And look, DickO, honestly, you talk about like good people and bad people in Scientology. DickO is a perfect example of someone who is 100% through and through a kind, gentle, sweet, caring, loving, beautiful guy. That guy did not have a mean bone in his body. That guy couldn't be in a bad, I've never seen the guy in a bad mood. I've never seen him in a bad temper. I've never seen him frustrated. I've never seen him anything but like calm and happy. And he did have that one eye that was a little bigger than the other and kind of the bulge out. It was kind of cute. And, but even when he was getting yelled at, which, you know, he was in the Sea Org for 40, 50 years. God, I wonder if he's even alive. Guys, I need to know if Dick Orchu is alive. Can someone email me at growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Is Dick Orchu alive? Man, that is a guy who, if there was any way for any one of the foundations to help get him set up, and if he's alive and live his final years, you know, doing something awesome, that would be really something. That's awesome, Amber. Thank you for that. Xenu Golf Club. If David Miscavige is watching, what would you say to him? I'd probably say, do you need a booster seat, little fella? Okay. John J. Question. DOA got arrested for interrupting church services, but it's a comedy show. Is that a church service? I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a church service to me, but I cannot wait to review all that material and see what's going on. This is unbelievable. It's a comedy show? Is that what they're saying? My God. All right, let's see. Ramones Girl 1. You just became cooler, in my opinion, because Gen X 80s music is the best. Bowie is the best. Angie Bowie is my cat's godmother. That is awesome. Yeah, every time a song would come on the radio in the car with my mom, she would quiz me and my brother to see if we knew what it was. So I guess that's what, and our mom had us when she was 20, and that was in like 1980. And so, you know, whatever 20 something single mom would be listening to from 1980 to 1993, that's the music I was exposed to. And I thought it was great music until Joey Flores told me it was shit. And from then on, I have never wanted to select any music on the radio when I have anyone in my car, because I'm embarrassed that people will make fun of me for the music that I listen to. It's actually a deep insecurity of mine. Oh my God, it's so funny. All right, let's see. Akron's, what is this? Oh, AK Brenda Robert. Oh, it must be Alaska. Alaska Brenda Robert. You were in a cult mindset, which follows former cult members, sadly. It's easy to be blind to it as one who escaped that mindset. It's like Amy S. Oh, Amy Scobie becoming Christian, but still in cult mindset. Sad. Yeah, I agree. Oh no, Nora. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Nora. Okay, Lord Kiss Freak, love it. Thank you for being a channel member for a month. Do you know what dates you will be in Montreal? Actually, I do know what dates I will be in Montreal. So let me pull it up here. Oh, forgive the dead air. All right, let me see here. Yes. The nights of the 17th and the 18th. I will be in Montreal on the 17th and the 18th of this month. Wow, that's in only 12 days. So there you go. Yes. And I will absolutely be doing some sort of a meetup outside. Well, I want to say the Montreal org, but I know I've received some emails explaining to me that there might be different locations in Montreal, and I'm not quite sure. So I have to do my homework. But okay, how about this? Whatever Scientology in Montreal is the location people would protest at, use chalk tech at. That's where I'm planning on going and meeting up with whoever wants to meet up. So more to come on that. There you go. Powell Goss. Thank you very much, Powell Goss. Kelly Copter's in the chat. You know, when I was saying I don't like picking any music when someone's in the car, I was thinking of you. I don't know. Do you remember detecting any uncomfort when it came time for me to like put on some music in the car? Good to see you, Kelly. CK Rardon, thank you for becoming a channel member or becoming a channel member. Alterbrook Jerk, Ron. I grew up Scientology adjacent in the 60s to the 80s in San Francisco. I support you for transparency with dignity in the cult recovery space. The Remini Rinder dynamic is pervasive. Great work at Spotlight. Ooh, I'm not sure what the at Spotlight means, but thank you very much. I appreciate the kind sentiments. Day. DOA is okay. I'll be released shortly. Excellent. Ooh, Ishka Bible. Serge's husband, Michael, figured Rinder out the first time you brought them over to meet him. Yes, that's right. He did tell that story. Power lies to paralyze. Good to see you in here. Self-healing starts with acceptance, blind spots, and all. I do agree with you. Powell Goss. Aaron, one ADHD one ADHD to another. Represent? I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. People tell me they're pretty sure I have it. I've often wondered if, taking some sort of whatever people with ADHD take would help me get more done in a day. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Okay, let's see. Are Tony Ortega and Mike Rinder friends? Oh, definitely. They are definitely friends, which is why Tony Ortega hasn't written a single word about the protests. He hasn't written a single word about Child USA or Brian Kent, because why would he? Only a journalist would do that. Okay, Ken's channel says, new drinking game, DOA arrested, take shots. There we go. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's some adult beverage in there. Keela McDonald. Aaron, thank you for always being you. I'm really upset about the fair game BS on the victims, standing up every day, saying it until someone listened. Now he is being fair gamed by ex-Scientos. Thank you very much, Keela. I appreciate it. Okay. Kim Wexler. Has Mike Rinder really changed, though? I'm not sure. I know what people mean when they say this. And I guess I sort of kind of reflected that sentiment in my previous video. Like, he was destroying people's lives for 30 years. Then he left because Miscavige was being too mean to him. And he's had no therapy. And he was on a TV show and he wrote a book. So why is he different? I guess what I'm saying is, he spent all this time in Scientology destroying people's lives. He's not someone that now spends all of his time destroying people's lives. That's what I mean. Like, it's not the same thing. But how is his mindset different? I don't know. Has he explained how it's different? I have no idea. And what process would he have gone through that would have changed that? Again, I have no idea. Somebody could make the same argument for me, and that's fine. It's a fair argument. It's just that my job wasn't to destroy people's lives for 30 years. My job was to deliver courses to people who had already paid for it to someone else, who'd already been scheduled to do the services by someone else, and who came in on their own volition to do the services. My job was never to force anybody to do anything. And the people I was working with wanted to do the things I was doing with them. So now somebody be like, wow, it sounds like you're getting yourself completely off the hook. Anyone who had anything to do with Scientology can, with enough reflection, figure out ways in which they did things that perhaps they regret. I'm just saying, not everyone's job was the same. Not everyone's job was to ruin people's lives for 30 years. So when you say, has he really changed? Well, I mean, there's plenty of evidence that people would give, it looks like he hasn't changed at all. I don't know. That's up to him to answer. What I can tell you is, in my opinion, what the main outrage was when I was booted off the Aftermath Foundation wasn't that anybody could ever have a problem, or the objection wasn't that anybody could have ever felt that my private life was somehow going to impact the foundation. The problem isn't, nobody objected to the fact that somebody might think that. Oh boy. The problem was how they saw I was treated by people who claimed to call me a friend. And so I've never shown those emails, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, if you guys saw, Rabbit saw these emails. I showed these emails to Rabbit. The emails of the back and forth between Mark, Christy, Mike, and Claire. By the way, these emails is why Luis Garcia resigned. Seeing 4 people who called me a friend conspire behind my back for 2 weeks in secret to get rid of me, and the kind of things they said about me, saying, we don't even care if Aaron actually did this thing in LA. We just don't want to have anything to do with him anyway. That is why Luis Garcia resigned. Now, Luis Garcia has asked me not to share his resignation email, which is why I never did. And I've never shared the emails of the back and forth showing them conspiring in secret to get rid of me behind my back for 2 weeks. It is how they treated someone who they called a friend for so many years, whose help they relied on to grow their channels, who they vacationed with, who they pretended like everything was great. And this is how they treated someone. So when someone says, has Mike Rinder really changed? The fact that those 4 would treat someone they consider a friend that way, for me, that's at the heart of this question. Has he really changed? Right? So anyway, I've said enough on that. Thank you very, very much. Jana Mandick. I started watching you during your Nathan Rich interviews. How is Nathan, and will you ever have him back on? Well, he's great. I talk to him all the time. It's just he doesn't live in the United States. He still lives all the way over there in the region of China. And I do want to go visit him. It's just so far away. He wants me. I mean, I literally, like, every time I talk to him, he's like, what are you waiting for? Just come over and hang out. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, I feel so silly. Because the truth is, guys, when you do YouTube, you can do YouTube from anywhere. I'm like, why don't I just book a flight? Why don't I? I guess I'm old. I want to say I have too many responsibilities, but that's not even true. I literally could go for like 2 weeks and everything would be fine. So anyway, Nathan's doing great. Honestly, Nathan hates talking about Scientology. He's like, I don't know why he's like, he was like, I don't know how you do this all the time. I'm like, because I love it. I'm sticking it to the man. I'm screwing David Miscavige as hard as I can by putting more content on YouTube than Scientology is. He's like, I don't know. I said what I had to say. And he's like, I said what I had to say. I wrote my book. I got no interest in talking about it. So for that reason, we probably won't do any videos unless there's something else that he wants to chat about, which actually would be fun. Okay, Amy Butcher, when are you coming to Montreal? And is there a meetup to protest? Okay, good. I answered that one. Be Merry for Life, welcome as a new channel member. Gina Erickson, welcome as a new channel member. Patty, I hope DOA doesn't get charged with using boob attacks. I hope not. Eat More Pizza Now gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much for doing that. That is very kind of you. Wait, did I do that? Sorry, guys. I hit the wrong button. Spiritual Awakener 2. Thank you for becoming a channel member. And Valerie Boljak. Appreciate your channel, even though I'm a Neverzin. Well, I appreciate you joining so often, Valerie. I love seeing you in the chat. You need a Ma Pearls t-shirt. I have 2 Ma Pearls t-shirts, but you know what? I tend to use them, wear those when I'm doing chores around the house because they're a little too tight. They're a little too small, and I don't want you guys to tease me if I wear them in a video. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, Summer Savage says, comment, Chris got his phone and got his van form. Excellent. That's the benefit for having support out there. That is awesome. Okay, let's see. Calico, did your wife have a hard time getting over her Scientology beliefs? Yes. It was actually one of the many sources of friction between us relationship wise is, remember, she had a different job in the Sea Org than I did. Her job was in the Commodore's messenger's office. Now, Commodore is L. Ron Hubbard, and the Commodore's messenger's office, that's the CMO. That's like an elite level of Sea Org member within the Sea Org. And she was actually in the L. Ron Hubbard personal public relations office. And those people are very uniquely dedicated and loyal to L. Ron Hubbard. And it was hard for her to share. What's funny, in addition to the Scientology beliefs themselves, it was hard for her to get over being upset, angry, or resentful if people would say something negative about L. Ron Hubbard. And yeah, for years and years and years, actually. Let's see. Lethanda Grauklinger, can we expect a little tea time with you and Rabbit? You know, I've been on Rabbit's channel a bunch of times. I'd be more than happy to do a little thing with her. That would be fun. She's also kicking butt in the YouTube game. Rebecca Dickerson, welcome as a new member. Okay, scrolling through here. Lisa Gillespie, for me, it's simple. My tax dollars are being used to support an organization that fails to adhere to the rules of tax-exempt status and breaks laws. I assume you're talking about Scientology. Thank you for that. Susan Miller says, looking good in blue, Aaron. Thank you very much. I guess it's kind of nice to have the blue lights behind me as well. Make it make sense. I love that username. That is awesome. 80s music is the best, hands down. Heck yeah. Marilyn says you can't go wrong with Stevie Wonder and Queen when Kelly is in the car. That's funny. We didn't listen to any Stevie Wonder or Queen. But now I know for next time. Down the Rabbit Hole is in the chat. Hi, Rabbit. Good to see you. Aaron is on fire. All right, let's see. Elisa, 1704. Miriam scared Mike Rinder about Child USA. Second gens exposing Mike Rinder. USA, a child USA, Mike Rinder hides behind. Scared about Scientology criminality. You with the papers had to silence and shame you. Leah and company linked to Mike Rinder. You reflect and shine light. You be you, strong and fighting for right. Wow, you packed a lot into that character limit. Congratulations. That was very good. That was some skilled super chatting there. Thank you, Elisa. Elisa, I appreciate that. I will say this. I don't think they got me off the board because they were jealous. Is there a component? Okay. How would I say this? I think they genuinely got to the point where they were tired of being associated with me in everyone's mind. Now, someone might go, well, that's a function of jealousy. Maybe. What gets me is that they went from even treating me like I was one of their trusted and bestest of friends, to basically conspiring in secret for 2 weeks behind my back on how to get rid of me without ever even contacting me, calling me, texting me, checking with me. Are you okay? What happened? Holy shit. We're getting these crazy emails. What's going on? We have a problem. Like it was all just, it went from, oh, pretending like everything's great to damage control, cut him out of the process, cut him off completely, distance. And that is Scientology. Like who treats a friend that way? But again, I don't want to sound like, oh, they treated me badly. No. I'm trying to articulate what I think other people's, the people who are our support group, the people who support SPTV. I think that is what upset them about what happened. Not that they felt how they felt, but that they did what they did. That's what I think. So why am I saying that? Because I don't believe that they were like, oh no, we have to get rid of Aaron or he's going to expose us. If they thought I was going to expose them, the smartest thing would be to keep me close, not kick me out. Do you see what I mean? Okay, let's see. Crafting Emily became a YouTube member. Thank you very much. Yes, down the rabbit hole. I saw the emails. They exposed the true character of these people. I never exposed them. That's right. And for people who think I've just got some big vendetta against these guys, if I had a vendetta, I would expose the emails. It's not good for business. If I had a vendetta, I would also expose the emails for everything that was going on behind the scenes leading up to the release of the Serge Obolinski documentary. I could absolutely destroy Mark and Claire and the Aftermath Foundation by releasing those emails, and I don't. And this isn't some veiled threat. I'm not going to release those emails. There's no reason to. I'm only mentioning them to sort of counter this idea of, oh, he's doing everything he can to destroy them. No, I haven't. I've said almost nothing over the last 6 months. I haven't released the stuff that I could release if that was my goal. That's my point. That's my point. It's not a threat. I'm not even be like, and if this keeps up, these things are going to come out. No, that's not. No. If that was who I was going to be and what I was going to do, it would have already happened. It is still genuinely my hope that we are going to bring the temperature in the room down. Now, based on the shit that Chris Shelton was shooting off at the mouth about today and Kate Olsen, I don't expect the temperature is going to come down. I'm expecting all these guys are going to double down. And, the Aftermath Foundation and the board members and their agents are going to continue to criticize people that are out here doing the work. And they will then complain and cry that they're being bullied and harassed by a guy with 241,000 subscribers. And it's like, okay, I said what I said in the video yesterday. If the board members and their paid agents, Mitch Brisker, Alex Barnes-Ross, Catherine Olsen, and Chris Shelton, want to keep attacking me and people associated with me, then don't cry and complain that it's all just drama and clicks and views. Do you want to know why people talk about Chris Shelton? Because he gets on his YouTube channel and he cries about former Scientologists who mention him negatively in their videos. And he says, this isn't a drama channel. This isn't what I do. And I go, yeah, because you do it on Discord and you do it on Reddit. You think, like, you realize it's all the internet, right? You realize that YouTube is a part of the internet and that Discord's a part of the internet. and that Reddit's a part of the internet. Chris Shelton gets on Discord and Reddit and just goes on rants, just shitting on his fellow former Sea Org members, and then gets on YouTube and cries about people doing the same to him in a video. Why do you think it doesn't matter unless it's in a video, Chris? Alex Barnes Ross does the same thing. On Reddit and Discord, Alex Barnes Ross is all like, rah, 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 division, criticism. And then he gets on YouTube and he's like, we're all just on the same team and we're all just supposed to get along. And what's the problem? It's like, Alex, this is why people keep talking about you in videos. You're so dishonest in your videos compared to what you're doing behind the scenes. And it's not fair for me to call it behind the scenes, because behind the scenes would be in private. If Chris Shelton and Alex Barnes Ross and Mitch Brisker and Kate Olson were doing all their shit talking actually in private, that's their business. Nobody would have any problem with that. It's that they do it in other places on the internet and act like it's not supposed to count and nobody's supposed to mention it. It's so silly. Anyhow, thank you for that, Rabbit. You got me in a little bit of a roll there. Dawned on me. Can you please explain your mindset when you hired Mike Rinder to work for you? It'd be like, I thought Mike Rinder to me is like a celebrity when I hired him to work for me. That was my mindset. I was like, cool, Mike Rinder's working for me. It's not like he was uniquely qualified to do anything I wanted him to do. Anybody could have done the job I hired Mike Rinder to do. He just needed a job and I needed someone to do it. And I was more than happy to have it be Mike Rinder. So that was my mindset. Susie Alt, thank you for becoming a channel member. Autumn T, thank you for the super chat. Grumpy Turtle, thank you for becoming a channel member. Rage Against the Dark Arts. Hello, Miriam Francis. Happy to have you in here. Good to see you. Catching up. Thank you for sharing on your reflections. Thank you very much. Guys, if there's comments or questions that I'm not bringing up, it's just because it's cans of worms I don't want to open up. That's all. Okay, what is this? Baby Snakes Master 420. You should make a Spotify song playlist and share. Never. I will not be shamed that way on the internet. By the way, I mentioned in a couple of videos that Heather had just been out of town for a couple weeks in Scotland. And so I had all the kids to myself. And one of my girls has a pet snake. And I hate snakes. Now, there was a special group chat with me, Heather, and the girls. And then I assume the girls have a different group chat just with them and their mom. And a text came through that said, uh-oh, snake's missing. Search party. And this came through on the group chat with the girls and me and Heather. And about a half hour later, I said, are you serious? And my middle daughter was like, oops, wrong chat. The snake got out and it's gone. It's been gone for days and days and days. And I'm like, did you guys search the couch cushions? And they're like, why would it be in the couch cushions? I said, why wouldn't it be in the couch cushions? It could be anywhere where you might sit down and accidentally get bit by a snake. By the way, it's one of these snakes. It's actually like almost 3 feet long, but it's only like, I don't know. Is it a corn snake? I forget what it is. And they're like, yeah, we accidentally didn't feed it and it hadn't eaten for a couple weeks. And we think it got so hungry that it broke out the top of its cage. I'm like, what do you mean it didn't eat for 2 weeks? Anyway, your name just reminded me of all that. So like literally my worst nightmare is a snake just being loose in that. I'm terrified of snakes. And luckily that's a different house. Okay, let's see here. Allison Metcalf, Palumbo. What is the timeline between you getting the Mike Rinder documents and the Aftermath Foundation emails ramping up to get rid of you? Yes. I got those documents before. Remember, there was the Aftermath Foundation tried to get rid of me in June. In June, I was basically forced to submit a resignation letter. And then many months later, just before it was supposed to be effective, they basically rescinded it at Leah Remini's orders. And then I was back. I mean, I was never not on the board, but I was back on the board without any risk of not being on the board. And somewhere in there is when I got the documents from Leah. And then I did the video about Graham Berry without saying Graham Berry's name. And then Graham Berry complained. And then Mike Rinder insulted me. And then I insulted him back. And then he said, I'm going to get you off the foundation. And I said, good luck. And then that's when that happened. So yeah, somewhere in that in-between period is when I got, when you saw the aftermath emails ramping up, those emails occurred in June. It was after all that. And those emails is what led up to me having to submit a resignation letter that was going to be effective in 3 months' time. And then like a week before the resignation was going to be effective, they basically rescinded their acceptance of the resignation letter. And so that would have been like June, July, August, September. So that would have been like September. And then, so it was only like a month or two later that everything came to a head finally. Thank you for the question, Allison. Lethanda Grauklinger. I love to watch you and others heal in real time. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Ada, welcome as a new channel member. Rob Greenway, you've really been going through it. I wish I could give you a big hug, dude. Stay positive, Aaron. I actually, believe it or not, have been very positive. But yeah, thank you for that. Kara McAllister, thank you very much. Wow, we're almost done here, guys. Ken's channel, Aftermath Foundation is filled with Scientology management and a ton of skeletons of bad behavior. SPTV is represented by the formerly abused. If I was leaving, I would know who I'd pick. That's very kind of you. Thank you very, very much. Jonathan Manson, with all the remodeled orgs over the last 10 years, do you think Scientology will start unloading the empty orgs to cover the legal fees in the lawsuits? Good question. My answer is no. Because as long as, you have to understand, they have the real estate assets and they have a ton of liquid assets. And the truth is, there's only a handful of lawsuits. I don't think they are exceedingly expensive. And I wonder, oh my God, I wonder if Scientology has any kind of insurance like a normal giant corporation would have. Oh my God, do they have some sort of insurance that would cover the cost of legal settlements? That's a question I've never heard Mike Rinder address, but wouldn't that be interesting? So there are, Scientology will not sell any of these org buildings. They'll never be put in a position of having to sell until the tax exempt status is revoked. That is my opinion. Even the Leah Remini lawsuit, I bet Scientology could settle that for $50 million to $100 million, and that would be a drop in the bucket, you know. And the Valeska Paris lawsuits ordered into arbitration, the Val Haney lawsuits ordered into arbitration, the Jane Doe lawsuit is on track, and the Jane Doe 1 lawsuit against Gavin Potter and David Miscavige is on track. The Jane Doe's lawsuit, the Danny Masterson's victims and associated persons, that lawsuit is on track. I think Scientology, yeah, like I said, for all those reasons stated above, I don't think they're going to be forced to sell any buildings until they lose their tax exempt status. Thank you very much. Kathy Zilnewski. I'm close. Love your channel, Aaron. Thank you, Kathy. I very much appreciate it. Oh, I heard about this. Godless Heathen. Confident Chris identified the man who assaulted him. He is 100% sure, and the guy is currently being arrested. I didn't know that. I knew a couple months ago that Confident Chris had identified the guy who assaulted him. Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to have to do something with that. I'm going to have to call Chris. The guy is in handcuffs right now, and Chris confirmed it was him to the police. Oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God. Guys, is this on Chris's channel? Is this on, let me pull it up real quick. Oh my God. The guy who assaulted Chris is being arrested right now. We're going to tune in.
I want the whole thing. I am a man.
It's your whole act.
Oh, that thing in my mouth. Give it to me, don't boggle me.
Wow. Okay, I kind of want to see the moment they put him in cuffs.
Probably just let him go.
Oh, that's him, huh?
That's all in there.
Oh, wow. He's sitting there?
They ain't gonna do shit.
He's sitting there? What? How?
War. They gonna let him go.
How could he have been sitting there?
I've seen him being in handcuffs in the other guy's video. They probably just let him go. There's all in there. I don't know. It's like
My.
Wow. Okay, well, it's happening. That's what's happening. I guess it's nothing terribly exciting is going to happen there. They're going to put him in the car and they're going to drive away. I've got to find out. He just happened to be hanging out there with everyone right there on Fountain Ave on L. Ron Hubbard Way. This is wild. I got to find out what's going on there, guys. So maybe I can chat with Chris tomorrow and get all the skinny. Wow. Who is the guy on the mug? Who, this handsome devil? That's Tampa Brad, folks. If you haven't seen my Tampa Brad videos, check those out. Okay. Jen Nelson. I know he works a lot, but have you heard from Sterling? Yes, I have heard from Sterling. Yeah, Sterling and I are, we're friends. We chat, we talk. He's not been doing, wait, what just happened? Oh, what happened? What? Arb! Arb! How'd you get on the screen?
I didn't.
What?
I didn't.
Arb! Oh my God. Yeah, Sterling hasn't been doing videos lately, but yeah, we chat. Oh my goodness. Calico 26, please tell me your dogs and your cats are safe. They're safe. It's the snake that wouldn't be safe. We have 3 cats and a dog. There's no way that snake was just slithering through the house and those cats would not have torn it up. And yet nobody found a dead snake. There was no snake in the middle, no snake in the food bowl, no snake in the litter box, no snake anywhere. So they do suspect that it managed to get out of the house. And I'm like, damn, that must have been one hungry ass snake. But who knows? Buckled Up Buttercup, thank you for gifting a channel membership. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Okay, and the last one, guys, Caroline P. Have you seen L. Ron Hubbard's great-grandson's video about how his grandfather was treated, etc.? I think you're talking about Jamie DeWolf. I've actually met Jamie DeWolf. There was a get-together in New York that I met Jamie, and I've seen many of his videos. But so I'm whether I saw the one that you're talking about or not, I'm not sure. But I've seen many of his things, and people have asked me earlier on when the channel was growing, people asked me if I would do an interview with Jamie. And at the time I remember thinking, Jamie doesn't really know anything about Scientology and he didn't know L. Ron Hubbard. I don't know what I would discuss with Jamie, but I think it would still actually be a good conversation. Cause I think his experience, it'd just be interesting to talk to him just for his experience, not to learn about Scientology or to learn about L. Ron Hubbard, but to learn about his experience growing up as the great grandson of L. Ron Hubbard. I think I've still got his number. Maybe I'll text him and see if he wants to do a chat. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, Marilyn, for helping me star all these comments. Thank you, Barb, for jumping in and joining. Everyone loves whenever I shout Barb. And have a fantastic Sunday evening, everyone. I will talk to you guys soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, Oh, Antifa, my love. Then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe